Regarding the ayat of magic used as ruqyah, I understand it from the Qur'an and the experience of the scholars. But we have so many from the Sunnah, why resort to the ayat of sihr? Wallahi, I said to you, this is wadih, this is very clear. And ikhwan, I will say it to you one more time so everyone is clear. The Prophet ﷺ allowed any ruqyah from the Qur'an, any ruqyah from the names of Allah Azza wa Jal in a clear language. The Prophet ﷺ allowed it. He said, what I see no harm in this ruqyah, this was not ruqyah from the Qur'an, any ruqyah. I see no harm in this ruqyah as long as it does not contain shirk. No doubt, my preference is the ayat in the Sunnah. That's what I use more than anything. But sometimes you use the ayat of sihr and maybe Allah Azza wa Jal will open a door for this. Wallah, I'm with you in this question. I'm not against you. I actually agree with you. Like I personally encourage people to use the ayat that are mentioned in the Sunnah more than the ayat that are just, some of the scholars said or whatever. But you're still permitted to do it. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Alijiha bi kitabillah." Treat her with the book of Allah. And he said, "I'ridu alayya ruqakum fa'adina ma lam yakun shirka." He said, show me your ruqyah, and he permitted whatever was not shirk. This is from the Sunnah. It's not against the Sunnah to read the ayat of sihr. It's a part of the general Sunnah, but it's not part of the specific Sunnah. General meaning the Prophet ﷺ allowed it generally. وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاء. We've sent down the Qur'an, which is a shifa. But my advice is not to waste a lot of time, and especially what I don't like is I really don't like that a person ignores the ayat of the Sunnah and then instead uses the ayat which are from experience and the scholars recommend. But you can't deny the Prophet ﷺ allowed it. And then the person said, what about if we read the ayat of nifaq altogether? Would it remove a person's nifaq? No, because nifaq is an issue of their ilm. It's an issue of knowledge and shubuhat and not acting upon what they know. But this is, at the end of the day, this is something permissible to recite whatever from the Qur'an that you wish, as the Prophet ﷺ allowed it. And we should not make haram what the Prophet ﷺ made halal. At the same time, I agree with the questioner. My intention and my aim is usually to increase and to do more of the ayat that are mentioned in the Sunnah. But sometimes the variation is good for you. How do you diagnose a person is having a jinn or psychological problem? I don't. I just read ruqyah on them. And then Allah is, wallah, I'm not cutting the question short. Wallah sidq, I just read ruqyah on them, and then Allah Azza wa Jal will make clear what the problem is. What to do if the jinn possessing is taking revenge? The Prophet ﷺ warned us about the unintentional things that might trigger it, but nowadays the people doing ghost hunting and stuff like that. Wallahi, when people have done ghost hunting and they bring a jinn, first thing, wallah, I feel reluctant to read on them. Wallah. Even sometimes some of the shabab go to some places in Ras al-Khayma and places they go looking for jinn. If they come back with possession, I put them on the bottom of my list. I tell them, you're after everybody else. And this is your own hands I've put forward. But usually after a while we feel sorry for them. So we advise them and we advise the jinn. We talk to the jinn and advise that, look, what you did is not right. Yes, they should not have come after you. I understand you're taking revenge, but this is not permissible. And you need to leave. And usually the jinn will listen, and usually the jinn, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, will leave. I'm just trying to go through these questions as much as we possibly can, as quick as we can. Is there any connection between ruqyah and psychotherapy in general? Is it possible to mix both? Yes. I have a very good friend of mine. Well, I would love to bring him here. A lovely brother. Allah yajzih khair. He's a lovely brother, and he's a clinical psychiatrist, consultant psychiatrist. And I work with him all the time. We work together on cases and we look, but he has to understand the reality of what ruqyah is. So he doesn't be like the guy with a hammer that sees every problem is a nail. Yeah? And I also have to understand that he can benefit, and together we work together based upon al-birri al-taqwa. If we don't see any major signs, but we doubt the house is under the influence of the jinn, how can we confirm that? We don't need to confirm it, we only need to recite. People always say, it's confirm. Don't do it, leave confirming. Confirming, you don't need it. Don't worry about it, don't think about it, you don't need it. Just treat, don't worry about confirming. Treat the house with Surah Al-Baqarah, by removing the haram in the house, by filling the house with salah and Qur'an and good things and gathering relatives and not cutting off ties and all of those things that inshallah we can do. If we don't know where the sihr is buried, can it be destroyed by ruqyah? Yes, that was what happened to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said to Aisha radiallahu anha, "Amma ana faqad afani Allah," or kama qala sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As for me, Allah has already cured me from this affliction, yani without needing to take the ta'weed. After reciting Surah Al-Baqarah twice a day, recite ruqyah, one's leg is left shaking, getting jerks. What should be done at that time? Okay, this is a good question. So someone is reciting and they start getting some movements. What I would recommend is a couple of things. You can start the wiping and the massage on the leg. So reading, blowing, and if this is the leg is shaking, just reading, blowing, reading, blowing, blowing. If you want to blow on oil and put the oil over, you can do that as well. Just keep on chasing the jinn and pushing the jinn, and if it's a jinn problem. It might not be, sometimes people sitting down in one place for a long time. But if it's a jinn problem, then just keep pushing it, keep the pressure, keep reading. If you feel like you've lost energy, you can stop. And inshallah ta'ala, with dua, it will calm down over 10-15 minutes, it will calm down. But next time, you'll start again, inshallah. If a home is afflicted, how should we go about it? I don't spray ruqyah water on the walls, wallahi. Even though I'm not going to say it's haram, but I don't like it. Ruqyah water on the walls, I feel like you have to draw a limit somewhere, wallahi. Like I feel personally, in my opinion, that you have to draw a limit somewhere, and I just don't feel comfortable with it, ruqyah water on the walls. I just read Surah Al-Baqarah in the house, and that is sufficient, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, as well as removing the haram from the house and making the house a place of good. Can we hang Ayat al-Kursi and the names of Allah on the wall? No. Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا آيَاتِ اللَّهِ هُزُوًا. Don't take the ayat of Allah as a decoration. As for protection, then this is a bid'ah. Hanging them on the wall for protection is an innovation, and hanging them on the wall for decoration is a sin. How to protect our home from black knotted thread? One partner believes and the other one was not aware. But if you see that for example, your spouse has got some wrong beliefs, maybe they have some things about putting black thread in places to protect the evil eye, educate them bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. If you're able to remove it, remove it. If you're not able to remove it, educate them, teach them. Educate them about Allah, educate them about the Sunnah. They will come to the truth, but it needs time to educate and to correct the person. When we start ruqyah, the symptoms increase. Yes, very much so. And I give you an example. Cancer patient comes to the doctor first day. He has cancer. When he starts chemotherapy, do his symptoms get worse or better? Worse. He starts getting sick, really sick. But we know that treatment is ultimately, inshallah, purifying him and making him better. So yes, it is quite possible for the sickness to get worse with ruqyah, and that means you should do more, not less. Is it recommended to recite the 148th ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah to summon the jinn? La wallahi. This is shaitan min shayateen al-ins who does this. He is a shaitan from shayateen al-ins. And those who know his name, know who he is. يستغيث بالجن. He seeks help from the jinn. And I know him well. This one who recites أينما تكونوا يأتي بكم الله جميعا. And he talks about this jinn catching. هذا شيطان من شياطين الإنس. If a person is lacking the characteristics of a raqi, can he do ruqyah on himself and his family? Yes, but he has to try to improve those characteristics bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Is it necessary that we observe some problem with our family members being disobedient, then we read Qur'an on them? Because I read every day and complete Surah Al-Baqarah in 5 days. MashaAllah. There is no harm if you see some problem from your children. There is no harm in reading ruqyah on them. There is no harm in it. As well as doing the other things to look at why. Diet and what they're eating and maybe the environment and their friends. But also there is no harm in doing ruqyah. Didn't the Prophet ﷺ used to do ruqyah for, they used to do it for everything. Like even someone burnt their hand, they would do ruqyah on it. So, really ruqyah is broader than what people imagine. How to correct the belief of people who have doubts about the authenticity of hadith. I think this is a question off the topic. It's a beautiful question. May Allah Azza wa Jalla reward you. But I feel that it's too off the topic to be able to answer in the short time that we have. I will, if you email it to me, my email is just, you know the KALEMAH, you can see KALEMAH right here, kalemah.org. My email is just tim@kalemah.org. But now I'm going to get like 300 emails. Never mind. Tim, T-I-M, @kalemah, you can check the spelling all over the place, it's written everywhere, .org. Would Ruqyah cure OCD? Okay, yes, I think Ruqyah can be a good part of curing OCD. Now, don't get me wrong, there might be some psychological and psychiatric interventions that will help as well, but definitely Ruqyah that is waswasa, thoughts of disbelief. I have an article on it on my website, and I have spoken about it in the video, which is simple self-ruqyah. I've spoken about waswasa and people who get thoughts of disbelief, and ruqyah can be a very valuable part of that. If you see my article on the website, waswasa, it's inshallah beneficial. My website is muhammadtim.com, muhammadtim.com, and it's just mostly articles about ruqyah. How to do self-ruqyah, and while doing it, if your self gets violent, what do you do? No, you don't. Wallahi, this is the ajib thing about self-ruqyah. If I read on the person, they might get violent. They read on themselves, alhamdulillah, they just keep getting better. And it's one of the barakah, part of the barakah of self-ruqyah. But if you feel you can't control, it's like anything. It's like, look, I'll give you an example, because I like this example. Holding your breath. I ask you to hold your breath. You will not be able to hold your breath until you suffocate. Okay? I put my hand over your mouth and nose, you could suffocate. When you are doing ruqyah for yourself, you self-regulate. You naturally regulate yourself that you only do what you can manage. That can be a bad thing sometimes because you might need someone to push you over the edge when it's not going and you need someone to push you over the edge. It could be that you want someone else to help you in that. But generally in self-ruqyah, you regulate yourself, inshallah. How do you interpret if you see the face of the person every time you perform ruqyah? Wallahi, I put it in the file of evidence. It's a good question. So every time you do ruqyah, you see someone's face. The fatwa of the Lajna Da'ima is you ignore it. Okay? But I feel you just file it away in the file in your mind. Just keep it there. It doesn't mean anything is true. It can be a false image from the shaitan. But just keep it there. Perhaps Allah Azza wa Jal will open up, especially as you get towards the end of your treatment and the magic starts to break apart, you might actually be able to get some benefit about where this thing has been done. But don't accuse someone based on a vision. I'm going as quick as I can. The Prophet ﷺ said there's nothing wrong with the words of ruqyah as long as there's no shirk, in response to the Sahaba performing ruqyah in pre-Islamic time. They wouldn't have used the Qur'an, yet the Prophet allowed it. Does that mean we can use it? Yeah, ikhwan, we didn't listen then to the issue of ijma'. We said there is consensus of the scholars that you can only use. And the consensus is reported in your book by Al-Imam al-Nawawi and Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar, rahimahumullah, that you can only use Qur'an and Sunnah in clear language. That is consensus. Consensus is a dalil, like the Qur'an and the Sunnah is a dalil. That's why we said the hadith is not mutlaq. The hadith is muqayyad by the ijma'. The hadith is not absolute. It's limited by the ijma' that it has to be from the Qur'an and from the adhkar. If a person dies because of magic, will the sihr still remain or transfer to others? That's a tough one to answer. In general, when the person dies, the sihr, if it was done only to them, I would expect it to dissolve to a certain extent or to go away. But it may be that the jinn that caused that sihr keep on causing problems for the family, like they roam free and they might cause some problems for the family. Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best. It's a tough one to answer because I've never had a patient die on me, alhamdulillah. No, but I'm serious. I haven't had a patient die on me, alhamdulillah, fadlan min Allah ta'ala. So I can't really be like really specific, but just my feeling about it is that. Can kids or adults see the jinn? Again, only if they are, usually only if they are afflicted or they have been afflicted in the past. How to destroy ta'weedh. I have a full article on this, inshallah. It's called How to Destroy a Ta'weed, and you can find it within the video of simple self-ruqyah, and it explains the full instructions step by step, inshallah ta'ala. How to do ruqyah on your home. We said remove the bad things, do good things, and read Surah Al-Baqarah. What to do while reciting for a kid who's 2 years old and he gets aggressive. So I've answered that in the question of ruqyah for children. Jazakallah khairan. Okay, we'll try, because I think the ones, I don't know, the written ones seem like more deserving, because like the person went to the effort of writing it down. But we will get on the mic, don't worry, inshallah. 10 minutes, I'm gonna fly through it, inshallah. So we answered that. We said that ruqyah for children has very specific tips. We have in the previous workshop discussed it. The video is online. Do you recommend doing ruqyah, aayaat, and blowing on water every day? No, I don't recommend unless you have a problem or you want to test. What are the symptoms of magic or the evil eye? We've covered those in the previous workshops and videos, inshallah. And the reason, wallahi, if I covered it today, we would not have covered the course. Even I wanted to put all of the aayaat about the jinn and the evil eye and the hadith, but wallah, we would not have finished the course. I wanted finishing the course is an amana for you guys. I wanted to finish the course for you. Otherwise, I would have put all about the evil eye and the jinn, but I have it in my previous videos. You go to my website, muhammadtim.com, click on the videos section. There's all sorts of videos about it. Should I read each surah 3 times and then spit on the palms and wipe over the body, or all over the body and then wipe 3 times? There is no harm whichever way you do. But what is apparent from the hadith is that you blow and then you read. And some of the scholars said you read and then you blow. But each surah, each time you blow each time, and then you repeat the process 3 times. But whichever way you do, there is no harm. The hadith is not specific. Do I have to read for each family member separately? No, I think in this case, doing ruqyah as a collective is sensible. And it's not from what the Lajna ad-Da'ima forbade people from doing, where they forbade gathering the people together for ruqyah. I think it's sensible if you want to do ruqyah for your 2 kids, that you do ruqyah over them. Is it sufficient if I read the above surahs once and separate wipe to each person, or should I start from the beginning? Yeah, inshallah, like there is no harm in whichever you do, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. How to protect property, we've spoken about that. Jinn possession and shaitan possession. I don't think there's a great deal of difference. I mean, not every jinn is a shaitan and not every shaitan is a jinn. So not every jinn is a shaitan. Some jinns are Muslim, some jinns are non-Muslim. And not every shaitan is a jinn, some of them are human. As Allah Azza wa Jal said, شَيَاطِينَ الْإِنسِ وَالْجِنِّ يُوحِي بَعْضُهُمْ إِلَى بَعْضٍ زُخْرُفَ الْقَوْلِ غُرُورًا وَلَوْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ مَا فَعَلُوهُ. How will you know that the person is affected by the jinn? As we said, we don't concern yourself about this. Concern only yourself with there is a problem, there's a sickness, there's a symptom, and I treat it, and inshallah everything will become clear. This is much the easier way. Well, I know you feel like I'm giving you the wrong answer, but wallahi, I'm giving you the easy answer. Don't panic yourself over it. Don't sit there thinking, is it jinn, is it sihr, is it jinn, is it sihr? Yalla, it's jinn, what you gonna do? Recite Surah Al-Fatiha. Yalla, it's sihr, what you gonna do? Recite Surah Al-Fatiha. Ta'sil hasil, same thing. Just, don't worry yourself about what it is. Later on, it will become clear to you, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Why did the Prophet ﷺ advise Aisha to seek ruqyah? When seeking ruqyah would go against the hadith of the 70,000 because of the permissibility. Nobody wants to leave this hadith of the 70,000. جَعَلَنِي اللَّهُ وَإِيَّاكُمْ مِنْهُمْ. Wallahi, you don't like to leave this hadith. It is permissible to go and seek ruqyah from someone. Jaiz, permissible, halal, mubah, it's allowed, it's not haram. This hadith is from the mustahabbat, from the highly recommended actions, and maybe Aisha was in need of it in that particular situation. Jinn possession, which comes again, do exactly the same. Exactly the same. Jinn possession that comes again, do exactly the same as you did the first time. Inshallah, the second time is always easier than the first. Is hijama a form of ruqyah? No. It's a form of medicine. So it's a good thing, and it's particularly good towards the end when the jinn is weak in the body. It really helps. But generally, hijama is a beautiful medicine to go with the other medicines that we use. Okay, the symptoms, someone is looking normal. We've answered the symptoms. What is the root word of ruqyah? Ruqyah, it comes from ar-ra wal-qaf wal-ya, as far as I No. Because it comes from raqa yarqi. So that is a ra and a qaf and a ya. And it comes in the Qur'an. حتى إذا بلغت التراقي وقيل من راق. And also which comes in the Qur'an, which is not ruqyah, is ruqi, which is to go up. وَلَن نُؤْمِنَ لِرُقِيِّكَ. We will not believe that you ascended up to heavens. As for the original linguistic word, I don't recall. I recall that the meaning is to ruqyah is to incant or to say words with the intention of affecting a person, but the linguistic meaning before that, I don't recall it. Can non-Muslims heal? Spiritual healers in Christianity. Not with ruqyah. Like they might heal with medicine, but if they start telling, I can put my hand over you and heal, or I recite some words, usually this is a shaitani action where they are using the jinn, whether they know it or not. Were the jinn serving Sulaiman exclusively for him? Yes, no doubt. The ayah, oh Allah, give me a dominion, a hukm, give me a mulk. A mulk, لا ينبغي لأحد. It is not allowed for anyone after me to have it. And this thing is an evidence, very clear evidence, for the impermissibility of controlling the Muslim jinn. Because controlling the Muslim jinn is something that was given only to Sulaiman. Even the Prophet ﷺ said, if it wasn't for the dua of my brother Sulaiman, I would have tied it up in the masjid. But I didn't tie it up because of the dua of Sulaiman. Should ruqyah be in a loud or a normal voice? I quite like it in a loud voice if you have the power to do it, but inshallah it doesn't matter. But sometimes from the point of view of scaring the jinn a bit, you can give them a bit of a hard time. Does Sadaqa help to cure the magic? Yes, the Prophet ﷺ said, Dawu mardakum bis Sadaqa. Treat your sick with Sadaqa and hijama, we've already answered. What is the punishment for doing black magic and evil eye, intentionally, unintentionally? Black magic is kufr. مخرج من الملة, takes a person outside of the religion of Islam. وَلَقَدْ عَلِمُوا لَمَنِ اشْتَرَاهُ مَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَاقٍ. Whoever purchases it will have no share in the hereafter. As for the evil eye, then it's a major sin if a person does it intentionally. As for unintentionally, then a person must correct themselves and they must take the habit of saying Allahumma barik or barakallahu lah or barakallahu fi or words like that. How do I know where in the body the jinn is? Either if you're doing on yourself and you feel the jinn moving, or if you see it moving and you see it moving in places. If you don't see it, you don't need to. Breathing problems when ruqyah is sought and feels like someone squeezing her neck. This is the jinn. This feels like the jinn, someone squeezing the throat. What you can do is blow in her mouth, open her mouth. I mean, if it's your sister-in-law, you can't really, but you can ask maybe your wife to do it. You can, or if it's a lady asking for her sister-in-law, like her brother's sister, she can ask the brother to do it, and you blow into their throat. It will let go of the throat, or you can put olive oil that has been recited on around the throat. My wife feels pain and weird things, especially after Maghrib. This is also from the shaitan. She should get ruqyah, inshallah ta'ala, to help this problem to go away for good. Don't take 70% better. Can menstruating women perform ruqyah? No problem, they can perform ruqyah, inshallah, especially when it's needed. If there are other people, there are other people, but there is no harm. But they should not read from the mushaf. It's better for them to read from their phone or from memory. Reciting ruqyah shar'iyah as a daily adhkar, we covered that. You mentioned the aqidah of the raqi and the patient. How can ruqyah on non-Muslims be effective? We mentioned that it has a separate istithna, it has a separate exception, which is proven in the Sunnah. So yes, we say about the aqidah of the patient, but at the same time, I read on patients who are Muslims who are doing shirk. But we try to stop them from doing their shirk. We try to encourage them to stop and try to encourage them not to do this anymore. And we do it from the point of view of da'wah. So it might have an effect by the permission of Allah. How to deal with okay. I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it when I read it. It's been a long day. So ruqyah is for the sickness of ignorance, the sickness of the heart. My question is, if the Qur'an is for whatever it's read for, so if we read with the intention of the means of halal rizq, would this also become ruqyah? No, ruqyah is a treatment for a problem. Let's get this straight. Ruqyah is a treatment for a problem, yani. For getting rizq, Allah Azza wa Jalla has given you means to get rizq. Dua, birrul walidain, all of the other things that we mentioned, inshallah. But ruqyah for rizq, we don't know of any evidence for this. Is any permission from guardian required if you are to perform ruqyah to help others for women? I think it's better, yes. Generally, a lady should seek permission from her guardian, because if something happens to her, her guardian will feel very upset that he didn't know about it. You know, at the end of the day, at least he should know that she's helping other people. Going to ruqyah centers, does it fall under bid'ah or not? Wallahi, look, I know that there is a bit of a debate and an issue going on about ruqyah centers, and I'll tell you my perspective. And may Allah Azza wa Jal have mercy on our mashayikh and protect our mashayikh who gave answers to this question, who are more knowledgeable than I am. So don't please take my answer to erase their answer. I'm just going to give you my perspective. When the mashayikh say that a ruqyah center is not allowed, it's usually not because there is a hadith or an ayah saying this, but because they see harms in that ruqyah center. They see men mixing with women, or they see problems happening, or they see people being lazy, or they see ruqyah jama'iyya, ruqyah as a big group. But for some people, and it's an important thing. So for me personally, I don't give a ruling for all ruqyah centers, but there are definitely ruqyah centers that are not helping, and perhaps there are ruqyah centers that are helping, and Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best. And some of the mashayikh object to the financial issues. The center is running on money, people coming and paying. And wallahi, we don't want to contradict what our shuyukh said, but we respect them all. But my personal feeling is that some ruqyah centers are bad and some are good. And this is a way to join between the different opinions of the mashayikh. Where does one draw the line with respect to spending on one's family in order to avoid the evil eye? وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُسْرِفِينَ. Don't go to excess. Allah doesn't love the people who go to excess. And Allah Azza wa Jalla said, إِنَّ الْمُبَذِّرِينَ كَانُوا إِخْوَانَ الشَّيَاطِينَ. Those who waste their money are the brothers of the devils. 5 minutes. I'm going to call a moratorium on the questions. Like, we're going to stop with these. And a couple on the mic, because I really want to get the ruqyah demo. But just I'm going to try for 5 minutes to quickly finish these. If a child abandons prayer and goes astray despite regular counseling, can ruqyah be performed? If you believe they have a sickness, yeah. If you believe there's a sickness in the heart, like doubt or confusion, I don't see why not. But really what the person needs is guidance. And sometimes when you do ruqyah, you actually might be scaring them. The person, like the child, actually just feels like they don't fit in the society, and they need advice, and you're giving them sometimes ruqyah, and it's like, what, do you think I'm possessed by a devil? I just don't understand what I'm doing in this society. So sometimes it can be counterproductive. You have to be a bit intelligent about it. I know my sister is afflicted, but she's a non-Muslim. The way to go around this, barakallahu feekum, is to read the article I have on ruqyah for non-Muslims. It's on my website. Sheikh, you mentioned that the preventive ruqyah does not exist, but how do you understand the hadith that mentions reciting Surah Al-Baqarah? For the house will protect it for 3 days. Wallah, I don't know of a hadith in this regard. Is there a hadith, or this is from the statements of the scholars? I recall it from the statement of Shaykh bin Baz, rahimahullah ta'ala. But if there is a hadith in this regard, then we will have a look at it, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. What I recall is the hadith in Sahih Muslim, and the scholars saying that you should recite Baqarah regularly in the house. Because even the hadith on Surah Al-Baqarah indicates a protection as well as a ruqyah. لا تستطيعها. The magician will not be able to touch you if you read it. The magician will not be able to touch you if you read it. That indicates both a cure and a protection. And Allah knows best. If we serve jinn, or if we sense jinn or negative energy present at home, will recording the tape all around the home? No, I wouldn't put the tape all around the home. Tape is okay, for benefit, but I would read the Qur'an, do good deeds, remove the haram. When I recite on for 10 years old, my 10-year-old son, he gets violent and runs away and makes noise. Any advice? Yeah, I think this is sometimes happens with the kids. It's a little tough. Just be gentle with them, be patient, take your time. Try and find the time when they may be a little bit more sleepy, a little bit less active, and just be patient. Follow them around. If they run away to their bedroom, just gently walk up to the bedroom, knock on the door. Be slow, be gentle, inshallah. I get rashes on the back. The rashes could be medical, but if you've been to your doctor and your doctor said that he doesn't know what it is, you might try putting a little bit, test it first. Don't put it on the whole space in case you have a reaction. A little bit of Ruqyah oil on there. You could ask your doctor what cream to use. If he gives you a cream, you could recite Qur'an over it. And if it's halal, it doesn't have any alcohol or anything in, and you could recite over it, or you could mix it, you could put it on your back for extra benefit. And in this case, like rashes, you should join between the doctor and the Ruqyah, both. Like according to what, if the doctor is like, I have no idea what you have, it's completely paranormal, then Ruqyah only. But otherwise, let the doctor do his job and let the Ruqyah do its job. Can Ruqyah be read over a painful headache or sprain? Yes. No, you don't write Fatiha over a Panadol. You read Fatiha over that place where you have the sprain. You read Fatiha over the place. Like if you have a sprained arm, you read it over the arm. You don't read it over the Panadol. Barakallahu feekum. How do you know if you're possessed with jinn or just depressed? It doesn't matter. Read Ruqyah for depression, read Ruqyah for the jinn. It will come, inshallah. Can you do Ruqyah over yourself for being lazy and lacking motivation? Yeah. If you feel you're down, if you feel like you're lazy, you feel like you're not getting anywhere, yeah, you can definitely do that. What you read is correct. Hadith, Ruqyah, general dua against the evil. This I guess is asking, in some of the ahaadeeth, the Sahaba only read a dua. They didn't read an ayah or something like that. That's okay too. That's okay too. It's not necessary for you to read Al-Falaq and An-Nas. Like we said, it's a bit of this is a flexibility there. How to dispose of things related to magic? We've got an article on that. And controlling jinn when you have Ruqyah on yourself, don't worry, you'll self-control, inshallah ta'ala. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, you'll self-control. But generally, when you do Ruqyah, you should always make sure the environment is the right kind of place. We're going to do that in the demo, inshallah. You mentioned we should not necessarily do Ruqyah unless we suspect an issue. We should use preventative measures. How can we do on a young child who is too young to recite themselves? No, you can recite them over the child. The Prophet ﷺ used to recite over Al-Hasan and Al-Husayn, أعيذكما بكلمات الله التامة من كل شيطان وهامة ومن كل عين لامة. Because this is a suspicion also, and there's no issue with this. We've used the Qur'an as a tool for Ruqyah, but how come exorcisms exist in other religions? They use shirk. There's more than one way to achieve something, and there are haram ways and halal ways. Okay, that's Abdurrahman, the end, okay? There are haram ways, there are halal ways. And there's no doubt, if you have a jinn with you, that jinn can pull the other jinn out, but it will not be a proper cure like what Allah Azza wa Jal will give you. A raki can recite on a non-Muslim patient. We've dealt with that already. Is adhan allowed in Ruqyah? I see no reason why not. It's mentioning the names of Allah Azza wa Jal. But I see no evidence specific, except that the shaitan runs away. But it seems to me that the shaitan runs away from the adhan at the time of prayer. I'm not sure there's an evidence the shaitan runs away from the adhan mutlaqan, in every time and every place. The hadith is quite specific about prayer. When the call for prayer comes, the shaitan goes, but you can read the adhan, there's no harm. Is Zamzam allowed to use in Ruqyah? Yes, it's halal substance, we said about that. Using Surah Al-Baqarah in an empty house. I guess playing it without listening to it. Playing it is not Ruqyah, so if you want to play, but I don't have this idea about playing Surah Baqarah in the house when no one is home. I don't see any reason to do that. Practical training programs. Wallahi, I wish, I try my best, but it's very difficult. As you can imagine, I get a lot of requests, and I'm not doing Ruqyah. I'm here to teach non-Muslims and new Muslims. That's my main role here at KALEMAH. So Ruqyah is literally, it's really difficult for me to manage. I just try what I can. At the moment, we do it on like an invitation based only. Like, so if I find a student who's been coming to my classes for a long time and the person asks me, I might bring them on some cases if I see they have the right characteristics to do it, inshallah. Can we do Ruqyah on animals? We don't know of any evidence. No, it's a good question. It's not a bad question. We don't know of any evidence for that. The linguistic definition of Ruqyah, a charm, spell, either uttered or written, by which an evil affliction can be removed. That's it. That's the one I gave. But I don't find it, like, I wonder if there's an origin, like not the dictionary definition of Ruqyah, I know, but I mean the origin of the word, like this word ra wal qaf wal ya, especially words like ruqi and things like that, like and I don't know what is the origin of the word before that, but Allah knows best. We give a couple of guys, I think Salman, I'll let you use your judgment if you have a couple of people on the mic, inshallah. We'll try our best, inshallah. But we're not going to have time for the demo if we don't finish in 5 minutes. So we'll take 2.5 minutes from the brothers, 2.5 minutes from the sisters, and that's all.
Ustadh, just one clarification on the hadith for Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. It mentions that the companion recited Surah Al-Fatiha 7 times. No. You've mentioned 7 times in brackets, and when I refer to the Arabic, I can't see that number there.
Yeah, it's in the other wording of the hadith. In Arabic, it's there as a footnote. If you see in the Arabic in there, it's there as a footnote. As it's mentioned in Musnad al-Imam Ahmad, not in... go through the footnotes in Arabic at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. One of them says, the 7 times is narrated in this hadith number here. So it's like, in English, I merged the narrations into one to give you like a complete narrative, but in Arabic, they are separate. Like Musnad al-Imam Ahmad is separate from the narration in Sahih Muslim.
Assalamu alaikum. When children are too young to recite Arabic themselves, how do you ensure that you can pass the benefit of the morning and the evening adhkars over to them?
I guess with the morning and the evening adhkar for the children, you just, if they're too young, they're not required to do it, but you just encourage them by them letting you see them watching you do it, and you know, maybe even reciting a few small ones for them and telling them to repeat after you. You know, like that, slowly and simply. Like for example, in the beginning, we might just teach them, Bismillah alladhi la yadurru ma'asmihi shay'un and fil ardi wala fis sama wa huwa as-sami'ul alim, like this, and the children will inshallah learn slowly, but they're not required to do it, so Allah Azza wa Jal will protect them bi'idhnillahi ta'ala.
When Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was affected with black magic, the magic charm was found and opened. So in our case, if we are treating Ruqyah, with Ruqyah to a person afflicted with black magic, how do we find the charm?
So it's not correct that the charm was found. In fact, the narrations of Bukhari and Muslim clearly say that the charm was not opened. And in the hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha, it is mentioned that the Prophet ﷺ did not open the charm. It was in the well of Dharwan. He knew where it was. The angel told him where it was. But he just commanded the well to be filled up. He just took the sand and they filled the well up and they left it. They never opened the charm. And Aisha questioned him, why did you not open the charm? He said, as for me, Allah has already cured me. Meaning that if you use Ruqyah, that's okay. But if you find the magic, it's a good question. How do you find the magic? You let this go with its own time, inshallah. In its own time, if Allah Azza wa Jal wishes for you to find it, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, you will find it. And we're kind of hoping, inshallah, if Allah makes it easy for us, our next seminar will be specific to magic, and we might try, if Allah makes it easy for us, we'd love to bring one of the world leading experts on the topic, if Allah Azza wa Jal makes it easy. If we could do that, he would be able to tell you many times when they have found the magic. But I've had people find it by phone calls, people find it by dreams, people find it by just stumbling across it, just appearing in front of them. Wallahi, it just takes time. But Ruqyah is used until then. Don't go looking for it, because I had a brother, he said he went looking for it, like he started like digging his garden up, and wallah, the only thing he ended up with is a messed up garden and a bill for the digger and the construction. So it's not right. Let it come in time. Like the Prophet ﷺ, like you mentioned, he found it from the angels when the angels told him where it was, but he never took it out. He just took the sand and filled up the well so that nobody could use it anymore. And that also tells you that if you get a ta'weez in things, you should keep them away from people and away from things, because they have a harm to them. I think we can take only from the sisters. One last one from the brothers and then from the sisters.
Can Ruqyah can black magic cause death? And if a person is really very ill, and if you perform Ruqyah on him, can that also make the side effects of...
Excellent question. So there's no doubt that magic can cause death. There's no ikhtilaf on this issue among Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah that magic can kill a person. As for whether Ruqyah could cause a danger, I always err on the side of caution. So I will do Ruqyah for a really sick person, but very slowly, very gently. If anything happens where I'm not sure, I will step back, evaluate. I'm very cautious. Like if someone says like this person has a frail heart and even the smallest shock could cause them to die. So we do ruqyah very, very gently for them. Yani we don't, because you don't want to, and I mean, for example, we've had bad cases before of people doing ruqyah and not preparing, and because they're not prepared, the person like jumps out of the window, or the person like does something, ma'ad Allah, Allah keep us safe, and the person jumps out of the window. And again, all of this is from, like not preparing, not taking it slowly and cautiously.
We have just two more questions from the sisters.
Just two from the sisters, please, inshallah.
That's the last two questions, inshallah.
Yes, I have two small questions. The first one is, can a person who is sick, who is already doing self-ruqyah, do ruqyah on a person who is sick? Is there any harm for the person who is doing ruqyah? And the second question, can the qareen possess or overpower a person and make her sick? If yes, what can be done?
Very good questions. The first question, relating to someone who's already afflicted doing ruqyah on other people. I wouldn't advise it if there's another option, because it's complicating things, and sometimes the jinn work with each other to make things difficult for you. And the jinn that is disturbing you work with the jinn that is disturbing the other person. But sometimes you have no choice. If you have no choice, inshallah, it will be fine. But if there's an alternative, I would rather someone who is not afflicted read to make things easier. As for the qareen's role is very specific. I need to whisper, to suggest things, but his role does not involve sicknesses, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. But the jinn may, some other jinn may follow and make people sick, but the one that is with you all the time, its role is not causing sicknesses, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best.
Sheikh, we has a sister and she has a question whether shaitan or jinn can make you leave Islam, like become kuffar.
This is a very good question. And this has multiple answers. I think the first thing is it possible someone could get wiswas and then leave Islam? Yes, I think that's possible, but two things. If they are insane, because the jinn has taken away their mind, they are not guilty. And Allah Azza wa Jal will not blame them for it on the Day of Judgment. Or it may be because of their own self. Usually the shaitan whispers what is already there. Yani they had these thoughts and the shaitan is just encouraging them to act upon them. So I think that is the best answer that I can give. Okay, what do I want you to do from now? What I want you to do from now are two things. I'd like you to go to the website, muhammadtim.com, muhammadtim.com. Or you can go to YouTube and type in simple self-ruqyah on KALEMAH's YouTube channel. And I'd like you to watch the video on simple self-ruqyah. This video might take it from a different angle, because all of my videos are a different angle. If you want more, watch the previous workshops as well. Workshop number 2, and make notes. Fill your notes. I left you loads of space for notes so that you can watch the other videos and fill them in. And the second thing I want you to do is I want you to start practicing ruqyah on yourself, on your family, on your kids. Don't be one of those people. Some of the people have attended 5 or 6 lectures of me giving lectures on ruqyah, and until now have not done ruqyah to anybody. This is not of benefit, like you're just acquiring information. Let's make it that you go and do ruqyah for your kids, for your family. Small thing, doesn't have to be you advertise ruqyah services. In fact, you can't, because here in the UAE, ruqyah is not a licensed activity to advertise. Yeah, so I'm allowed to teach you ruqyah, but I'm not allowed to advertise my services as a raqi as per the rules of the Islamic Affairs and Charitable Activities Department. They don't have a license for it. Okay? However, you can do ruqyah in your family. They have no problem. There's nobody's stopping you from that. Any ruqyah for family, for friends, it will benefit people. But they just don't want you to, advertise ruqyahservices.com here. Instead, what I want you to do is to take ruqyah as a daily practice. And with your kids, practice. If you know someone who's a bit sick, even a sickness of the dunya, say, inshallah, I will try some ruqyah over you. With experience, you will gain so much that we couldn't share with you in this class. But please bear in mind what I said at the very beginning, لا تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله. Don't put anything in front of Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Don't start doing ruqyah like YouTubing all these people, because wallahi, most of them will not benefit you. Most of the videos of the people will not benefit you. Obviously, there are some good ones. Our dear brother Abu Ibrahim, Hafidahullah, and some other brothers, mashallah, have really good material. But don't be like just surfing for, jinn experiences. Practice your ruqyah, get it good, be comfortable in it. And then inshallah, Allah Azza wa Jal will bring people to you who you can benefit. And inshallah, you can benefit one another and help each other for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. Likewise, that means, with a disclaimer, that it doesn't mean that I don't, I have my strict rule. I don't give approval, tazkiyah to people. I don't say to people that you've been to my ruqyah course, so you're okay, because I've had myself burnt too many times. There are people who come to the ruqyah courses who are not okay. Inshallah, none of you guys, but there are people who come who are not okay and who have bad ideas, and they come just so they can say, I attended Muhammad Tim's ruqyah course, I'm upon Sunnah. And then they do ruqyah, which is everything opposing the Sunnah. So those people, we cannot say that, but we can only say, just make dua for Allah Azza wa Jal to teach us what will benefit us and to benefit us with what He teaches us, to make us a reason to affect a cure for those people who are sick, to bless us in our families, in ourselves, in our wealth, in our knowledge, and to gather us together in Jannat al-Firdaus al-A'la among the 70,000 who will not suffer any account or any punishment. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.